Okay, we're streaming this live, so that's what the delay was. Okay, listen, before we get started, we just stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I think I'll be asking Mrs. BG to lead us. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God.
Okay, thank you. All right, before we get started tonight, let's, who's with us tonight? We have a Councilwoman Santiago, Councilwoman Lincoln, Councilman Moreau, Councilman Fidetti. How about Town Clerk Kelly Allegra? We have Anthony Feo, our Highway Superintendent, our Town Attorney Dave Zagon, and our IT Specialist Danielle Barrett, and I am George Myers. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is a public comment on agenda items. So if anybody wants to speak to the agenda, any item on the agenda, you have 3 minutes. If you just raise your hand, I'll acknowledge you when you get going. If anybody comes up online, you'll let me know. Okay. Anybody here to speak to any agenda items? Danielle? Nobody? All right, get started. Jill, entertain motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, I apologize.
Your name?
My name is Daniel Crack, I'm the attorney. I addressed the letter to Mr. Zagon. It's also pretty tough. It's nice to meet you. I don't know if the committee wanted to hear at this point. To hear for this.
Mhm. Right.
So I didn't know if the committee wanted to pick it up now or if it's going to be.
Well, you have 3 minutes to speak. You can speak about whatever you want to speak about.
Okay, well, first I just wanted to ask if Mr. Zagon had received submission.
Listen, you're going to address me, not him. So we have received everything that you sent in, and we have replied to everything. So if you want to make a comment other than that, you're okay. Go.
Okay, you should reply to it.
Mail.
Okay. I received the
Okay.
reply. I just wanted to ask the committee if it had any questions. Business, if they wanted to ask me in person, as I stated in my letter, this family is really salt of the earth, some time, and business and to Windsor and from people who have lived here, qualifying, and as you can see from my records here today, they takes them immediately. So I would just ask, in consideration of all of the other businesses that are in town, to grant them that permit, and if there's any questions that you have, the person to answer them. There's concerns with regard to safety. In my response to the town attorney letter, that answered those fully to your satisfaction. If there are any lingering concerns, since I didn't receive the response,
Okay.
and I'm here, if you'd like to address those to me, I'd be happy to respond.
Okay. Anything else?
No, do you have anything else?
Okay, you can sit down. Okay, let's move along. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, approve the minutes of public hearing for the adoption of a local law amendment, Chapter 280 of the Town Code, Town of Windsor, Vehicle and Traffic, no parking on Walnut Street, and for the adoption of an amendment to Chapter 280-27B of the Town Code of the Town of Windsor, townwide speed limit, and to approve the minutes of the Town Board meeting, all of which were held on June 1st, 2022, as per copy posted on the Town Clerk's bulletin board and Town Hall, same distributed to the Town Board members. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilman Moreau?
Yes.
Councilman Fidetti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes. This is a receive and file. Hearing no objections, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file. Consent to the Town Engineer order of the Highway Superintendent for the acceptance of the portion of Merch Lane as a public highway of the Town of Windsor. This is just cleaning up that Merch's Lane. Some issues were pending for many years. Another receive and file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file the Town Clerk, the attached independent accountant's report on applying agreed upon procedures to fulfill New York State Department of Transportation's requirement for a consultant's audit as part of its closeout package for the project commonly known as replacement of Lake Road Bridge over Metro North Railroad Port Jervis Line, BIN number 2223300, PIN number 8759-87. That's just wrapping up this Lake Road Bridge, which seemed to have taken a life on of its own. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the supervisor to execute attached amendment number 1 to contract C012388 between the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Town of Windsor, and any future amendments or documents necessary to secure the continued funding for provisions of temporary alternate water sources of drinking water until such time that New York State provides a permanent solution to the PFAS contamination of Butter Hill wells. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this is where the state has agreed to pay our water costs to the city of New York through May of 2023. I'd just like to acknowledge Dave Zagon's work in keeping this payment going until we can resolve this issue with the lawsuits that we have pending against the state and the federal government. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize supervisor to execute the attached professional services proposal in any amount not to exceed $7,000 for the preparation of a population study of the Town of Windsor's consolidated water district in accordance with the resolution annexed here to motion.
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, this is the, we have to have a population count for the New York City DEP, and it has to do with our excess water charges. So we had tried to do this in-house, it just wasn't working, so we've gone out and now it's not to exceed $7,000, and New York City was kind of putting us on the notice that we had to get that number into them, so the board decided that we would go forward with this. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby accept and authorize town supervisor to execute the attached professional services agreement for the provision of bond counsel services in connection with the sale and issuance of bonds for the increased improvement of sewer facilities, associated modification upgrades to the wastewater treatment plant. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, it has to do with the $60 million upgrade and expansion of the sewer treatment plant. We did get a grant from EFSA to help us pay for some of this, and this is an ongoing project, probably take another 5 or 6 years to get it done. And Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the town clerk to advertise pursuant to law calling for the public hearing to be held on the third day of August 2022 at 7 p.m. in the New Windsor Town Hall, 555 Union Avenue, New Windsor, New York, to hear all persons in the town of New Windsor in all sewer districts interested in the proposed sewer assessment roll for 2022. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln?
Yes.
Supervisor Myers?
Yes, our town assessor, Todd Wiley, will be here next month to answer any questions that the public may have regarding this sewer assessment roll. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive of the town clerk the attached fully executed grant agreement between the Town of Windsor and the New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation dated October 28th, 2021 for the Clarkview Sewer Main Replacement Project, which is Ouija project number C373000800. This is that Clarkview project, which was a long time coming. We're finally wrapping this up. Here, another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file with the town clerk, the attached New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation plan and specifications, technical approval with the stamped cover pages for the Clarkview Sewer Main Replacement Project. This is just getting ourselves in line with the Environmental Facilities Corporation. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file with the town clerk, the attached agreement dated June 2nd, 2022 between the Town of Windsor and MHA Engineering TPC for engineering services in connection with the preparation of Phase 2 of the infiltration and inflow study for the Town of Windsor. So this is another project that we've undertaken. We're trying to locate where we're having some inflow into our sewer line that is causing water to be treated at the plant that does not need to be treated. So we have a couple of these grants going on, a couple of studies going on. We're making some progress. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, authorize the town supervisor execute any and all documents upon consultation with the legal counsel related to workers' compensation and 207C matters filed during the year 2002. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Rowe?
Yes.
Councilmember Detti?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is just authorizes me to approve any workers' compensation case or 207 case filed by one of our employees. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, advertised pursuant to law for sealed bids. The contract for work to perform the Town Hall ambulance roof project, and whereas in accordance with the aforementioned advertising for bid, all base bids were received in public open by the town clerk at 2 p.m. on June 28, 2022, and whereas having received all bids from the town clerk's office, the engineer for the town of the Winds received same and vetted same and make recommendation to the town board for the award same. Now therefore be resolved that the town board, town of the Windsor, award the aforementioned contract for work to be performed on the town hall and ambulance roof replacement project to Frank Stevens and Sons Roofing Incorporated in the base amount of $747,192 in accordance with the attached recommendation from engineer for the town. Motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Moreau,
Yes.
Councilman Detti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is the two roofs, the building we're in and the ambulance corps, and we've been patching them up for years, and we finally kind of bite the bullet and replace the roofs on both buildings. Another receiving file, hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file, an inspection report dated May 26 from Jamison's Zajac PE and Francis Spadetti III, Assistant Fire Inspector, regarding premises owned by John Constantino, known as 18 Victory Lane, and identified on the Town of the Windsor tax map as Section 16, Block 4, Lot 9. I'll speak to this in a minute. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor hereby direct the issuance of the attached notice and order pursuant to Section 113-2A of the Town of the Windsor Town Code in the matter of unsafe building owned by John Constantino located 18 Victory Lane in Windsor, New York, and further identified on the Town of the Windsor tax maps as Section 16, Block 4, Lot 9. Motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Moreau.
Yes.
Councilman Detti.
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, this is a rather large structure on Victory Lane that the engineer and our code enforcement people looked at, and it's in dire straits. So we are going to cover a few bases and with the town attorney's office, and then we'll probably put this out for an RFP to get it in and have someone give us a price to kind of take this down, and that cost would be passed on to the homeowner. I think it's pretty costly because some asbestos and some old lead pipes in there. So this is the first step in the long road for this particular project. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of Windsor, set the mileage rate at 0.625 per mile, 62.5 cents for official town officials and employees in accordance with the Internal Revenue revised and mid-year increase in the mileage rate allowance. Said increase shall be effective July 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. Motion?
Move. Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Moreau,
Yes.
Councilman Detti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes, so just increase this mileage rate. Chair will entertain a motion, Town Board, Town of the Windsor, authorize the solicitor's permit to Lorna Medina Resto doing business at Patria Mia to sell Puerto Rican food and sandwiches from a food truck located at 1283 Little Britain Road, New Windsor, New York, 12553. Permit to be obtained from the town clerk's office. Motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Moreau,
No.
Councilman Detti,
No.
Councilwoman Santiago,
No.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
No.
Supervisor Myers.
No. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file with the certificate clerk as to no referendum in the matter of the lease-owned town-owned property located at 334 Avenue, the Americans Building number 2420, further identified in the Windsor tax map as Section 3, Block 1, Lot 51, to Mello Company, Inc., for the term of 3 years with 2, 1, and 1 year individual options to extend the 3% escalation rate. Total annual rent be $36,228. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file certificate clerk as to no referendum in matter of the lease of town-owned property located 333 Avenue Americans, Building 2422, and further identifying the Town of Windsor tax map as Section 3, Block 1, Lot 51 to Seiko Silk Screen Corp. for a term of 3 years with 2 1-year mutual options to extend at 3% escalation rate and initial annual rate either of $54,976 with utilities paid by the town for the occupancy of suites number 100, 200, or $54,000 with the tenant paying for utilities for the occupancies of suites 100, 200, and 300. Another receive and file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the town clerk the attached lease agreement between the Town of the Windsor and Seiko Silk Screen Corp. dated June 9th, 2022 for the leased town-owned property located 334 Avenue Americans, Buildings 2422, and further identified on the Town of the Windsor tax map as Section 3, Block 1, Lot 51 for the term of 3 years with 2 one-year mutual options to extend a 3% escalation rate and the initial annual rent of $54,000 rent paying for utilities for the occupancy of suite 100, 200, and 300. Have we ever heard from that Mello guy? No, he's in the wind. Okay. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor receive and file with the town clerk the attached fully executed professional services proposal with Air Environmental Consulting LLC for pre-renovation inspection and bulk sampling of suspected asbestos containing building material of the roofs of buildings located at 334 Avenue Americans, Suite 400, commonly known as 334 Avenue Americans, Building 2414, 334 Avenue Americans, commonly known as 334 Avenue Americans, Building 2418, and 2420 Avenue Americans, commonly known as 334 Avenue Americans, Building 2420, 2422 Avenue Americans, 334 Avenue Americans, Building 2422. So that's some roof issues that we have out there that we're going to resolve. All right, another receipt. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of the Windsor, receive and file the correspondence dated May 12th, 2022, received from John Morris, notifying the Town of the Windsor of his intent to retire from his position as a mechanic for the Town of the Windsor, effective June 30th, 2022. On one of our initial of tonight's agenda, we had him down as a heavy equipment owner, but he's a mechanic. Been there. How long has he been there, Anthony? 30 years. A long-time employee. And John always did a good job for us, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we're sorry to see him go, but wish him luck from his retirement. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file Town Clerk a letter of resignation submitted by Gary Van Boers dated June 14th, 2022, resigning his appointment as an alternate to the planning board effective immediately. Gary sold his house and moved out of town. He expects to move back into town. The town board would certainly look favorably upon his, if he reapplied, to be back on the planning board. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file, the town clerk, the attached agreement dated first day of January 2022 between the County of Orange, by and through the Orange County Youth Bureau and Town of Windsor for the New York State Youth Development Program funding for the year 2022 in the total amount of $5,000 for the purposes of providing Juvenile Aid Bureau program to the ages of 7 through 15. So I appreciate the county's help on that one. And then there's another one, hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receive and file with the town clerk, the attached agreement dated first day of January 2022 between the County of Orange by and through the Orange County Youth Bureau and the Town of Windsor for the Orange County Solutions funding for the year 2022 in the total amount of $10,000 for the purposes of providing a summer camp program to at-risk youth from 5 to 14. That program is getting ready to get underway, or might even be underway. I had some conversation with some of our counselors who are going to be down there, and we're looking for a nice 6-week program for these kids. Another receiving file. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of the Windsor, receiving file with the town clerk, the attached notice of claim in the amount of Karen M. Seeley Palin and Frank Palin against the Town of the Windsor. This is nothing to do with us. This happened in St. Francis Cemetery, which is not owned by the town. So we're just receiving and filing it and have notified them that we are not the owner. Hearing no objection, Town Board, Town of Windsor, receiving file the town clerk, the attached monthly reports for the following departments for all June of 2022. Justice Calderon, Justice Myers, the Police Department, Building Department, Recreation Department, Tax Receivers Utility Report, Town Clerk, and the Windsor Emergency Medical Services. And our receiver of taxes is with us here tonight, Susan Scheibel. Thank you. Okay, so that's it. We're going to have another public forum. Anybody have anything that they'd like to say? At this point, Mr. BG.
I don't know if this is to you, Anthony, or
Go ahead.
Richard Boss. Where I live there, it's four-way stop.
Mhm.
Probably about 75% of the people going to stop there, and I think Barville drives Indianapolis Speedway.
Okay.
I know, well, one time there, I saw this person sitting on the corner for a while, we were stopped. I think he wanted the red stop sign to turn green, but
Okay.
that was about it. The only thing I was gonna ask if Anthony or, someone could, put the sign or that line that goes on the road is completely, broke away there.
Okay,
Could they put actually STOP on the road 4 ways? Because I don't think people look at that sign.
I mean, listen, we certainly can repaint the, yeah, I don't know that we could put that stop business down. I mean, listen, I always say to people the same thing. There has to be some personal responsibility. What people do. I mean, and people who live by a stop sign call me a lot. And what happens is the people who are running through that, they live there. It's nobody from Wyoming. These are your neighbors. And it's like that no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Like I get a call sometimes on St. Anne's and Hudson, same thing. They live there. So, I mean, we can work the stop sign and issue some summonses. And that just works for a period of time. And I'm going to talk to the chief. We'll send someone down and we'll kind of work it.
I know the last time they had a motorcycle guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There.
Yeah, we can do
He
it.
was a busy person. that day.
Yeah.
And, but then after a while.
Yeah, that's that personal responsibility. I always say, this month we only arrested only 3 drunks in town, DWI. But there's still people driving out there drunk.
Yeah,
So
just
the-
kids playing around,
Yeah.
They don't care.
Listen, we have these speed thing, where we register the speeds.
Yeah.
We've had people doing 90 miles an hour in the development. So, and I mean, what do you do? I mean, we'll work it, but I mean, people just don't care. But Anthony will take care of the strike. And I'll talk to Doss about getting somebody out there.
Oh,
All right? You'll see them.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Right, just 2 quick things, had a chance to stop by and drive by Silver Road. Was here in town, so I just wanted to ask, telling for a time when that. I haven't driven by, so the work has started, so just wanted to know if there's on that. The second thing, was the roofs in timeline on that for construction.
Okay.
Just to make sure that those buildings are secured,
Mhm.
for employees. going
These
in.
roofs?
Yes.
Okay.
Town and for the ambulance.
All right.
Just that.
That's it? Okay. Alberto, the first of the roads, this is the first year or second year of a 5-year program. So it's gonna go on and we will be paving all the roads in town and it's a schedule that we keep. And people call, we can tell them when their road will be done. And we expect these roofs to be finished by November. We're gonna. They know where we want to go with this. And we have an experience with these people, and we think they're good, and hopefully we'll get it done before the snow flies. Hope I answered all your questions. Okay. Chair will entertain a motion, town board, town of Windsor adjourn. The town board meeting is 7:23 PM. Motion,
Move. Second.
roll call.
Councilman Moreau.
Yes.
Councilman Videtti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Santiago.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lincoln,
Yes.
Supervisor Myers.
Yes.